Well, hey there, team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a bit more Kerbal. Thanks again for all your support and helpful feedback on the previous episode. It's good to know that this is still going quite strong. It's one of those things that I can revisit now and then, and there's still a bit of an install base, a bunch of you that are pretty keen to follow along with me. I do appreciate the guidance. It seems that my path towards orbit is on task, so that's good. In fact, people have even suggested I might still be able to do it with the same vehicle that I'm using. Now, bearing in mind, we're down to 40 grand, which is quite a little bit of money, like it's not a lot of money. So we're probably going to have to pivot to doing contracts shortly. However, I'm very keen to give the old Scarlet Sun another go. 6 grand, right? So we could probably have one more launch. Now, interesting to learn that the 300 meters per second sort of sound barrier, I guess, essentially, as far as I'm concerned, when it starts showing signs of wind resistance in the lower atmosphere, that's at 300 meters per second. People have pointed out that that's not an actual static constant number. There would be essentially an exponential relationship, I suppose, between that and the air density, which makes sense for sure. Ergo, we can throttle up the further up that we go. We don't actually have to stick to that. Ultimately, my takeaway is, now I'm not just going to go straight up, but hypothetically, if I went straight up, I could just go as hard as it gets to that sort of visual indication that we're getting wind resistance. So we can get more throttle, more bang for our buck. Now, the other thing is people have mentioned going east and curving that way. I think the number floated is I have to be going at 2,000 meters per second for the rotation, which is not insignificant. So we do want to rotate. So this is my sort of game plan as I think about these things, tossing about in bed or in the shower, solving the world's problems. I actually do think about Kerbal in the background quite a bit. I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the boost stage, and I'm going to do it straight up, right? We're going to go straight up. Don't worry about curvature or anything like that. I just want to get to 300 meters per second or sound barrier or whatever as soon as possible. That's the point of the booster as a delivery system, to get us to that point. From there, we're going to do the eastern curve under SAS. So we're going to sort of try and curve that angle. I'm not going for a specific angle per se, but what I plan on doing is eyeballing, getting as much thrust as I sort of can, and angling as well. We might be able to get a sweet spot where I'm at max thrust and I'm right on the edge of that sort of critical air resistance point, and I'm at the biggest angle that I can do as well. That would be a pretty cool sort of space to be in. So we'll do that. Now, someone said something about it might actually be on the takeoff, but there's a way to maybe do a visual representation of the apoapsis when we're in flight, which would save me having to go to the map mode. Anyway, look, so we're going to launch like so. Someone did a good idea trying to explain to me how the ball works and how I'm perceiving it from the wrong sort of concept, and I should conceptualize this gyro ball thing as if I was in an aeroplane, right? Which would be, I'd be looking at it, I think, from there, from the bottom sort of thing, if I was heading north. So the north line, as I perceive it, is going from here down, but I think in reality, it's actually going from down up. And so if you were to travel east, if you're on a northern heading and looking at this, and half of it would actually be blue and brown, this is how I understand it. Feel free to correct me, team. I'd be driving toward the ball, but not like at 90 degrees from this, and I'd be looking at it in a plane where it was blue and brown. And then if I were to turn east, I would be rotating around there, which is why I perceived it to be back to front, because I'm looking straight down on it, assuming east would be that way. And that's why 90 degrees makes so much more sense. But if you don't comprehend it, it's all back to front. Now, someone mentioned a purple button. This must be the purple button. Orbit? Oh, here we go. Oh, altitude. Oh, and 80,000 is what we're going to aim for. People have said you need that wiggle room, so I'm aiming for 80,000. Okay, a bit of talking, but, you know, I'm pretty sure the crowd that watches this are all about that, and I'm taking my learnings from you guys and giving feedback. We're going to put SAS on, and we're basically going to go straight up in the first stage for the booster to get us to 300, and then we're going to sort of ease to the east. Now, here's the thing. I wish there was, like, none of these move when I rotate, so how do I know which way is east? Like, I get that that's north and that's east there. If I were to say activate navigation, that makes sense to me now, right? Not that I'm going to nav to it, but it's almost like an eastern marker. But heading this, am I to assume that my ship is actually facing north because of this point, or is it facing south? I can't tell. It's not like I can see the navigation there. Anyway, it's hard to get a visual representation of which way is north and the east and south and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, okay, waffling complete. Let's give this a bloody red hot go. Okay, so cool. Okay, that's cool. Well, that's telling me what the apoapsis is, which is fine. That's all I actually just need the number. I don't even give a shit about where it is. I just want it to be predicted to be the correct height. So that's perfect. Thank you, commentor, that said that. I guess we'll throttle up as well, just in case. When we stage. That's so perfect. It gets me right there. Look, there we go. That's perfect. Okay. So, east is... Okay, east is this way. That's cool. Let's go throttle. I guess I can just keep going faster and faster upwards. I kind of wanted to hit the most speed that I could going up, but that's not really happening, is it? Which is interesting. I guess we could use more thrust. Oh, here we go. Now we're turning red. That's interesting. Apoapsis, hang on. 100 oh, okay, so I've overdone it a bit there. Hang on, so hypothetically I suppose I could just go hard like this, right? I could throttle right off. Well, I guess we could go to this mode now, right? Yeah, cool. Alright, I've absolutely overdone it. That's fine. Let's go to throttle like 0 for the moment. And then throttle. And then we'll stage. Oh, I didn't stage? Why am I not staging? Hang on. I pressed spacebar. Stage. Oh, okay, maybe I just didn't press it hard enough. Okay, cool. So, we're good. It's too high if anything. That's not a bad problem to have. Okay. Now, if I were to... Alright. It's going up. What happens if I throttle like in that direction a bit? Wow, that's way too high. So, okay, hang on. So if I do a retrograde thrust, what happens there? Will it come down? Oh, it absolutely will come down. But it's also shrinking. It's also shrinking that. Okay. Alright, so I've overdone it. That's alright. It's a good problem to have, I guess. So we want to go prograde, right? That's the idea. Right, but the apoapsis is going higher. So I think if I wait till we get a bit closer. Yeah, okay. I definitely overdid it during my exit, but that was alright. That was kind of cool, actually. It was good to know that I could throttle like so much more. Someone pointed out that like the longer you spend leaving is kind of a bigger waste of generally, you know, fuel and potential. Alright, I guess could we speed this up a little bit? Because I've only got so much fuel, remember? Oh, it's growing. Yeah, surely if I do it like a little bit lower than my actual prograde. Oh, hang on, there we go. It was sort of staging out a bit. Oh, look at this. I can make it move further away. This is cool. Okay, hang on, let's dip it in a bit more. It is approaching me though, hang on. That seems bad. I'm out of fuel. Fuck. Oh man. Am I not allowed to stage in this mode? Is that how it is? Oh, we came very close there, team. Now, the true problem is my spacebar just giving me a hard time or something? I don't know what's going on there. My staging's just been a little bit finicky. At $8 grand a rocket, we just can't afford it. That little readout is so handy. I love it. So I hate to do it, but we might have to put the orbit on hold for a moment. Just so we can do some contracts to get some money up. You know? Alright, we've turned off SAS, so it should right itself with wind resistance. There we go. I know that's super early, but it allows it to release, and while it's yellow, it just hasn't taken anything on yet. So once it goes green, it'll have slowed it enough, I think. Perfect. All right. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to pivot to do a contract or two. Now, the thing is, with the way that I understand navigation now, just generally speaking, going and doing the sort of flyover observation missions, that should be much, much, much easier. But obviously, I guess the fun of it would be trying to make your trips and such to be as cheap as possible. You know, efficient. So I guess what I might do is build an observer craft, which is a rocket. I mean, can you make rockets more recoverable or easily recoverable or something like that? I'm not sure. I guess if I were to land it in its entirety, you know, that would probably do it, actually. If I was able to land the rocket, I could recover it. Ah, okay. Now the old brain's thinking about it. Okay, cool. Funds, 35 grand. Yeah, look, we can't afford to keep doing this, and there's no real overt reward for going to orbit just yet, because I don't have a mission for it specifically. Now, I could take one, But I think the safe move is to get some money here. Conductor focused observation. Ferry VIPs. Yeah, no, we're nowhere near doing that. Oh, here you go. We could do one of these. We've done one of these before, right? Haul a hammer solid fuel booster into flight above Kerbal, right? It's got to get up to, what's that, 54,000 meters to 62,000 meters, right? We have to be going at that certain speed range. Okay, so immediately I think to myself, what if I build a liquid fuel engine so I can control the throttle to get it to that point, and then we activate the hammer. Solid fuel booster, Kerbal, flying. I guess flying just means you're in the sky sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to try and do this one. Now, I don't want to... Can I do parallel staging? Not really, right? Because if I... Wait, hang on. We want you to haul the into flight. We've been reviewing our product catalog and have found an oversight. It's very little knowledge about performs under condition. Okay. Haul. Not test. Test engine. Haul. Have booster. Hang on. Can I get away with not using this booster? I think maybe, right? Oh, that's... I'm going to give that a go. All right, cool. Here we go, team. That one was wonderful, but we're going to make a new one, okay? So we're going to make... I guess we need a command pod. We could we not do the probe thing? Could we not send well... What's the trick with using a probe? Write more info. Unmanned. Oh, you can't use SAS. You know what? No, we need SAS. SAS is so good. Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll do the normal sort of command pod thing, which we put the drag chute or drogue chute on like so, right? And then we'll put the sort of little main chute on, and we will... I might as well stage them as I go. Cool. We'll put a heat shield underneath this thing for its descent. Wherever the heat shields live. There we go. Wrong one. Whoops. Right. We'll put a... We'll put a decoupler here. It'd be interesting if I can... If I can survive the mission without using... Well, no. What if I had this as the final emergency stage and try and recover as much rocket as I can? So, alright, where's the contract button? Contracts, right? Ferry, conduct observational... Oh no, here we go. Haul a hammer. Hammer. We'll put you under there, right? And in fact, we're going to empty you as well. Right? I don't want to stage you at all. How would we do that? How would we remove you from staging altogether? We'd probably put you up here or something strange. That's dangerous. Cool, so we're never going to fire that hammer. At least that's what I'm going to attempt to test. Right? We will put a fuel tank on that. And we'll put at sea level 167, at sea level... Okay, cool. And then we could put that there, right? Now, I'm not confident that's going to be enough to get us there. How much are these boosters? $200. They're nothing, right? They're cheap as buggery. But that, like, if we can keep the liquid fuel engine, that'd be big savings, right? Okay, hang on. So let's couple. And then we'll put a flea booster on the bottom, right? Same principle. I'll try and boost us up to speed, right? Up to this sort of range or whatever. And then try and fly the rest of the way with the liquid fuel. Now what I want to do is, so I'll stage the boost, stage decouple and liquid, and if I can avoid it, I don't want to ever stage that. So I think to myself, okay, what can we do to rescue this system? Bearing in mind heat shielding. How do we re-enter? I could thrust as we go back in. Oh. How much fuel did I put on there? Hypothetically, I could thrust back in, right? As I descend, if I fire my engine, oh god, that'll be so hard because it's not aerodynamically favorable. It's not going to want to do that. Center thrust. Would fins make it more stable coming back in? Someone was talking about how I was flipping something because my thrust and my center of gravity were far apart. What if... See, micro landing strut. Like, can I make you longer or anything like that? Deploy shielded. I would love to be able to save this engine. You know what I mean? On re-entry. But how would I do that? It's not like I can attach this directly to the engine. How would I land this thing safely? Okay, maybe we take a different approach. What if I just put a bloody parachute on it? Radial mount parachute, right? Do something like that. It's not the drag chute though. It won't be going slow enough. Oh man, this is a doozy to really think about. Oh. I would love very much to save it, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. So, you know what? I don't want to take up too much time on this. We need to get on with the contract, you know. So we've got the boost, boom. We've got the boost and decouple. Okay, cool. So then I throttle that up to a point where we're kicking goals and that's good, and then we get to the altitude at the correct speed. Cool. We decouple, and then we sort of stage out. I mean, having that stage up there doesn't matter. It's going to be decoupled, so it's not a big deal. That's cool. All right. What if we just call this like test series? Oh my god. Series 1. That'll do. And then launch, I suppose. But I think you guys get what I'm going at. Like, if I can avoid wasting any of this stuff, obviously boosters seem quite cheap, but like the liquid fuel engines aren't, and it'd be cool if I could, you know, make more renewable, I suppose, ships, or, you know, just generally less disposable ones. Okay. Have 10. Yep, cool. Let's go. SAS. Alright. $8,000. Alright, stuff it. We'll give it everything we've got for the moment. Oh, whoops. I staged too early. Well, that probably... I guess it worked out. Bugger. 13,000, we're not even close, right? So... that booster didn't give me what I wanted either. So... it's not the end of the world. I probably want to put a bigger booster on it. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could look at maybe building girders and stuff like that, you know, and have this start to resemble more of a sort of landing craft. I don't know how we go as far as heat resistance. Would simply increasing the surface area of my whole thing really just slow my sort of descent? I don't think that would work out so well. Like I think I would need actual dedicated heat shielding. Stuff it, I'll stage that early. But I think the heat shielding options in this, at least at my current tech level, are incredibly limited. Yeah, and I don't think I've really got like aeroplane component controls yet. I don't know. Maybe that's what I need to be doing, is looking at potentially making an aeroplane. I think the like the wings and that sort of stuff, the more aerodynamic bits and bobs that I've made, or that have I unlocked them even? I don't know. But I think there are tools for the horizontal assembly bay that don't appear in the vertical, and vice versa. Because I had a look at the tech tree, but I actually can't remember if I unlocked it in the tech tree or not. Cool. Anyway. Recovered buns, 32. Yeah, if I look at research, yeah, aviation. I haven't unlocked all of this stuff, but look at this. There's some crazy stuff that you can do. Wheels and that, yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking about. At least for these sort of observational Well, I mean, these return flight things. Because that's the other thing. If I don't use these sort of tools, how do I get a vehicle to return to Earth unscathed, as it were? I guess, like, we need to reduce speed. And as far as just coming in under heat resistance, I don't think that's really an option. We just don't have the gear for heat resistance. Thermal. Radiator panel. But it dissipates heat into space. I don't think a radiator panel helps very much in atmosphere, does it? Tolerance, pressure. Yeah, I mean, it implies by saying dissipates heat into space that it won't really have a function. I'd be curious about that, guys. What do you reckon of that? Does it affect the heat of re-entry? So yeah, I'm thinking I might try and have like a little sort of re-entry rocket or something like that. Yeah. What I should probably start actually working toward is making a larger command module section. I like having, like, we'll have the emergency system on it, so if it does go to shit, we can pop this off. But maybe I just start adding some more weight to it, I suppose, or a stage, or what have you. No, I can't just add stuff willy-nilly. It's got to be important stuff. So how would I do that? I guess I would just have a liquid fuel rocket that I use to fire back. I mean, yeah, yeah. I get terrified about the re-entry scenario. Because if I start adding things to the back, I think it will nose down whether I like it or not. Food for thought. Now we're thinking more sort of aerodynamics. Anyway, look, we didn't quite get to orbit. We need to solve this money problem. If you guys have any thoughts on what I'm trying to do, which is obviously conserve and have more conserved rockets and have some sort of re-entry protocol that isn't ditch everything and come in on shoots, let me know what you think about that. Because that seems like something worth getting my head around earlier than later. And then once we get a little bit more money into the bank, I think we should be right as rain. Do the contracts have like names? No, not really. Like, they don't have a serial number or anything, because that'd be cool, because I'd use that for my naming series. Okay. Team, thanks again for joining me. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.